The question says, a human body contains 835 micrograms of copper ions per kilogram of blood. What is the concentration of copper ions in parts per million, ppm? So parts per million, parts per billion, mass percent, they're all essentially the same formula. But for ppm specifically, it's equal to the mass of the solute, in this case copper ions, divided by the mass of the solution, in this case blood, times 10 to the 6th times a million. Now if it's parts per billion, it'd be times 10 to the 9. If it were percentage, it'd be times 100. So the mass of the solute and the mass of the solution is always the same, but the unit changes based on what you multiply by. In this case, we want parts per million, so we need to do multiply by 10 to the 6th. Note that it is mass of the solute, copper ions, over the mass of the solution. In this case, the mass of the solution, blood, is the entire solution that we have here. Now, it's arguable whether blood is truly a solution, but that's neither here nor there. Note that if you're given the mass of copper ions and the mass of water, you may have to add them together. Now, in this case, 835 micrograms isn't going to add much to 1,000 grams or 1 kilogram. All right, with all that said, let's actually look at how to solve this problem. Well, the only thing you really need to worry about here is that your masses are both in the same unit. You can't plug this in micrograms and this in kilograms. They have to be in the same unit. Since I don't know the conversion between micrograms and kilograms, we can figure it out, but assume we don't know it, let's convert them both to grams. So 835 micrograms. So if we start with 835 micrograms times 1 times 10 to the 6th micrograms is equal to 1 gram. So a microgram is 1/1,000,000th of a gram, or a million micrograms is a gram, however you want to think about it. And when you do that math, you get 8.35 times 10 to the minus 4 grams. Now, a kilogram is simply 1,000 grams. So this is your blood, this is your copper ions. So copper ions are your solute, so your ppm here is going to be equal to the mass of the solute in grams, 8.35 times 10 to the minus 4 grams, divided by your 1,000 grams. And because we want parts per million, not parts per billion or percentage, we're going to multiply by 10 to the 6th. And when we do that, we find that the ppm is equal to 0.835 ppm as the concentration of copper ions in this particular blood solution. Now, the last thing to note here is the sig figs. We had 1 kilogram or 1,000 grams, which I guess is 1 sig fig. But notice that it's 835 per kilogram. So this is definitional, or said another way, this isn't a measurement. What's measured is this. So since this has 3 sig figs, your answer should also have 3 significant figures.